Now, in terms of fitness, I'm curious, for people that want to get started, where do they begin? Is it weights first or diet first?
I would say like the most important factor of fitness is diet over actually working out. You could work out all you want, but if you eat like trash, you're not going to see any results. You could go on the treadmill for 4 hours a day, but if you're going to go down Mountain Dew, a 2-liter Mountain Dew and pizza, like it literally did nothing. It's all about, how many calories you're having. So I'd say getting your diet in check is most important because that's going to give the most immediate result of your body's going to either shed fat or gain fat, basically based on what you're eating. And then when you're implementing weight training, running, mountain climbing, biking, whatever exercise you choose to do, that's like the additional positive to your body.
What diets have you found are the most effective?
The best diet for me personally that I've recently discovered is eliminating as much processed food as possible. And it's kind of like the whole 2025 realm. Like you see RFK wanting
seed oil stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the seed oils are bad. I try to avoid them to a degree. Like it's in so many snacks. It's like you kind of screwed either way. But you should. I definitely would never cook with a seed oil. I only use like avocado oil. So if that's wrong, sorry, sue me. Don't sue me, but tell me what to do. But I would say whole foods, plain rices, plain meats with some seasoning and some salt and pepper, something like that. Your classic veggies. I do a lot of potatoes recently. So for years, I always avoided pasta and potatoes because it was very carb heavy. And then recently, I found that, meat, potato, maybe a veggie, solid. That's all I need. Literally. Like people make fun of me. They made fun of me once because they were like, you eat like you're broke. And because I'll like my breakfast is just like 2 eggs, a little bit of oats. And then later on, it's just like rice, meat. Like I don't really do anything luxurious. I mean, not that you need to, but it's just basic necessity foods. Like if you were a caveman, you're going to need meat, the nuts that you find.
Yeah. It's like paleo kind of.
Yeah, it's like just raw ingredient. Like if it has 1 ingredient or like 3 ingredients, that's great. When the list gets massively long, I avoid it. I avoid the dyes, and just trying to eat very like literally what you think is healthy. I think that clean food. And
so
my
what
body
differences
looks better.
have you noticed? Is it physique differences, energy differences?
I'd say it's all physique. I think I can eat more calories and stay leaner. Maybe it's just like less inflammation or something, but my metabolism definitely sped up a little bit once I started cutting out all the BS. Like I think if you can just have the basic 1 ingredient, simple whole foods, your body will look better. Even if you're eating the same amount of calories because of inflammation, because of just digestion, it's going to digest better because it's proper food. There's no BS in it. And I feel that with that, you'll probably feel better too.
What are your thoughts on diet sodas?
I mean, I don't have any problem with it. I've seen a lot of science-based people say how there's literally no problem and no long-term effects through studies. Is it better than water? No. If you're going to it's the same thing as a protein shake and a steak. They're both going to get you your protein. One's just a little more processed. One's been, put through a machine. So I think if you can cut those things out to a degree, if you're having Diet Coke 3 times a day, you probably need to cut it down to 1. But if you're having Diet Coke, every other day, I don't think it's going to affect you. Like it's going to dilute so much.
How important are genetics in bodybuilding and getting a good physique?
Everything. Literally everything.
Everything?
No, not to discourage people.
Yeah.
In terms of bodybuilding, like getting on stage, everything. In terms of
Getting a good physique.
you can really push your boundaries with any genetics. Some people will have genetics to hold more body fat and some will be skinnier. Like I'm someone that probably is supposed to be 170 pounds, pretty skinny, or pretty slender and not too beefy. Like my dad's probably 170 pounds. I probably would be the exact same build. And like my fiance and her family, they could eat whatever they want and they are shredded. Her brother is so shredded, tries to eat 5,000 calories, just goes right through them. So it's like those genetics do matter, like you can be way more shredded just naturally or hold body fat. And also your muscle insertion. So like when you see abs, you look at my abs, it's very like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have like obliques on the side. And then there's some people that have 1, 2, 3, 4. And there is no 6, there is no 5, 6. It just does not exist on their body. You cannot change that at all. If you have 4 blocks of abs, you cannot get 6.
I hear there's also something with like a common one is your bicep muscle insertion. Like for a lot of the shorter people, it's a lot easier to build that peak because
Yeah, but I mean, if you're a shorter person, you can put on 5 pounds, and the percentage of body mass index going up, like the percentage of your actual weight is, if you put on 5 pounds and you're, 5'5", but if you put on 5 pounds and you're 6'5", you won't even see the 5 pounds on the tall guy because it's so spread out.
Right.
And that's why I think I have a very good height for bodybuilding. I'm not too tall, not too short. So it's like 5'10", average height, can build muscle fairly easy, will fill out easy. But if you're like 5'5", you can probably get fucking, dude,
5'10" is average height.
Yeah.
That's average. There's no way.
How tall are you?
5'3".
Really?
Yeah.
You were
There's no
taller
way
than I thought
5'10"
you'd
is-
be.
Thank you.
Yeah, I knew your height from like online, but I figure like a lot of people, they always embellish it,
You know what's funny? I feel like I'm the opposite. I don't do anything to try to look much bigger than I am. Like I know I've taken thumbnails, photos, Instagram pictures of people. Maybe I'll do a few push-ups for a quick pump if it's cold. 90% of the time, I'm like, I don't really care. Just whatever I look like, I'm just gonna take a photo like. But some people they want to pump up, they want to look perfect. They only take photos on one side, and I'm like, dude, it ain't that serious. Like, no one gives a fuck that much. And that's why I feel like people will go up to them and be like, oh, I thought you were bigger, and not to toot my own horn, but people come up to me and they go, you're a lot bigger in person, like muscular wise. They're like, I thought you were smaller. One, I used to film with a 16mm lens. Everything in the center is smaller. So I looked smaller for years. And then I started using like the 24mm, like an abnormal looking one. And people comment, they're like, dude, you got so much bigger. And I'm like, no, I've always been this size. It's just I use a wide angle lens.
What do you say to people that claim that they're just big boned and they can't lose weight?
You can be a heavier person. Like, I don't think someone's really big boned. Like, I don't think your bones can be bigger and you'll weigh more because you got density. But I think that's almost something that someone can hide behind. And the truth is, like, maybe they just have bad genetics and that's what they've just been told their whole lives. No, you're big boned. You're big boned. So I sympathize. Like, I never am someone that's gonna be like, get your shit together. Stop being fat. Like, I'm never going to say that. So if you do feel like that describes you, I think, taking small steps to try to get some victories and losing weight and just getting on track and just see where your body takes you. Don't have too much pressure on yourself to just lose all your weight. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes, sometimes people really do cut out their calories and they just do not lose weight. So there are so many instances. In that case, I think finding someone that's been in that position before or is in that position and is changing and trying to find their guidance. I'm not the right person for that. Like, you can't come to me and say, what do I do? It's like, I could tell you it worked for someone with my body type. I could tell you it worked in some people that I've helped transform, but I cannot help you if it's a scenario that I've never helped anyone with. I'm not going to give you some BS answer and be like, yo, just cut your calories, because maybe that's not it. Maybe your thyroid is a problem. I would honestly say go get blood work done. That'd be my first thing. I say blood work and any health tests that you can get to see if you actually have problems losing weight.